And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Well, former NBC anchor Brian Williams finally speaking out in a sit-down interview with Today's Show's Matt Lauer on the events leading up to the 6-month suspension that we've all heard about. Williams says the time has been torturous but reflective.
You know, in our work, I have always treated words very carefully. That's the coin of our realm. That's our tool. It's the key to our credibility and our integrity. But Matt, it is clear that after work, when I got out of the building, when I got out of that realm, I used a double standard. Something changed, and I was sloppier, and I said things that weren't true.
When I got out of that building and stopped reading a teleprompter, I said things that weren't true. The news veteran of 22 years says his ego is to blame in all of this, and he was just trying to impress others and prove something, not mislead anyone.
Looking back, it had to have been ego that made me think I had to be sharper, funnier, quicker than anybody else. I told the story correctly for years before I told it incorrectly. I was not trying to mislead people.
And that was his John Kerry moment, apparently. Finally, Lauer gets to what we've all been wondering. Did you know you were lying?
Did you know when you went on nightly news that you were telling a story that was not true?
No. It came from a bad place. It came from a sloppy choice of words. This came from clearly a bad place, a bad urge inside me.
So, after that one interview went just perfectly, Williams is now slated to anchor breaking news and special reports over at MSNBC. That starts in mid-August. Will this interview help Williams regain the public trust?
Well, look, I've been feeling bad for this guy because I'm sure he's sitting home and he's watching, Hillary Clinton tell people that she was a pauper when she left the White House, and that she took fire in Bosnia, and nobody cares. And here, this poor guy makes up a couple of stories like he did with Katrina, because there's a pattern of behavior here, not just one, and everybody goes crazy on him. So I think this was a good interview for him to finally say, I screwed up. I'm sorry, I want a second chance, people, I want to move on.
Andrew, he gets a dream job right now in that he will just be doing breaking news on MSNBC.
Oh.
And Eric Wemple, Washington Post.
I'm not sure that's his dream.
Oh. Yeah, well, I'm obviously being sarcastic. Eric Wemple, Washington Post, documented in June when those times would occur, and they would happen 7 different times out of a possible 20 days, which means he'll literally be sitting around waiting for news to break. And people say, well, he's like Shep Smith on Fox, where Shep jumps in whenever there's breaking news. The difference is Shepard Smith was given a show. Brian Williams isn't even getting a show. He'll just be Mariano Rivera waiting in a bullpen.
He had the apex of news jobs,
Yeah.
okay? Second only to the CBS Evening News that was passed down from Cronkite to Rather, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling bad here. You want to know why we have an all-time disrespect of the mainstream media? There it is. I mean, can you imagine if he was interviewing Rachel Dolezal and he said, "Are you lying about your race?" I mean, this is embarrassing. I actually am a journalism major. I don't use it. I do talk radio. But if these major anchors, these 7-figure anchors, can't be trusted, there's no trust in the mainstream media.
You brought up a great stat, or at least the general stat, which is no one trusts the media as much as they used to. After Watergate, trust in media was 74% because Woodward and Bernstein spoke truth to power, and Nixon and so on. It's now down to about 39. I mean, that's almost half of people say, I don't even trust the media anymore.
Well, what do you think they're thinking of when they answer those polling questions? Who pops in their head? It's not the beat guy for the New York Times or the Washington Times, or I don't care what side you're on, that they're thinking about. It's not the guy out there running. They're thinking about the Rush Limbaughs. They're thinking about the Rachels. I'm trying to cover both sides here.
Okay.
That's who they're thinking of.
Interesting.
And of course they don't trust them.
That's
they're thinking about infotainment.
Do you think that he was? I'm trying to get to why he would have lied, because he had everything. He's almost a perfect guy. But let me couch it this way. you know, Dan Rather got his chops in Vietnam. Right. You can say we will about now, but Dan Rather now, but he was a reporter. And Scott Pelley with 60 Minutes, he does some real reporting. And Brokaw had gravitas, and Jennings had gravitas, and Williams was a good-looking guy who read a prompter, and I think he felt he had to be like one of the boys. Is that accurate?
I think, well, we'll never know. I don't know what happens inside his head. People do strange things, but that would certainly be a rational explanation for why he might do that. But I do think it's enough already. You know, the guy paid a price.
I agree.
You know, not that we're going to have any benefits for him. He's still going to be paid well and all that, but enough. You know, he paid the price. He, you know.
Yep, that's true. In fact, MSNBC actually has a poster of his time there. There it is. Well, Rachel Dolezal. Look, I'm Rachel Dolezal's father, and I'm an African American, and that is the MSNBC poster. Wow.
At least if he's doing breaking news, he won't have time to make up any stories.
That's a very good point. Okay, well, coming up next is potluck time. This is the Daily Wrap. Do not go anywhere.